Give us a sense of how business is going right now then, because you're guiding comparable sales down a little bit versus the previous guidance you'd given. So how is business going?
Yeah, thanks. Good morning. The second quarter was impacted by a lot of headwinds. We had China lockdown, supply issues, and rising inflation. We have taken decisive action in terms of further improvements on the supply chain, as well as productivity and pricing. We see for the second half of the year a 6 to 9% growth. That is underpinned by a very strong order book. In fact, orders continue to come in. If I disregard China for a moment, we saw 6% order growth and 19 more hospital groups signing up for long-term partnerships. So orders here is not the issue. We are well placed. We just need to get the supplies and the chips and the ships, as Manus just said, in place to deliver on that strong order book. We expect that we are able to do that much better in the second half than in the first half, leading to a 6 to 9% growth in the second half. Still, for the full year, that means indeed a 1 to 3% revenue growth and an EBITDA of around 10%, which is lower than what we had anticipated before.
Frans, good to have you with us this morning. Okay, so that's the table. You say leave China aside for the moment, but the world is obsessed with what's happening in China in terms of supply chains and economic delivery and recovery. What needs to happen in China and in Asia to materially unlock the blockages?
Yeah, I'm certainly concerned. In China, we saw this massive lockdown that lasted for more than 2 months that affected the China revenue itself, but also further disrupted global supply chains. For example, we have factories in the Shanghai area that were affected. What I understand from the situation now, that it is improving and these massive lockdowns will probably not happen again, but still the risk is there. I really hope that we can see, let's say, a further relaxation of the policies, because we are all dependent on supplies out of Asia.
Okay, so that would benefit the business then if you saw a relaxation of the policies. I'm sure many other businesses would feel the same. Let me ask you about what's happening with your sleep apnea devices. You've had to recall some of those. When are you planning to, you're repairing and replacing these recalled items. When are you planning to do that? What time scale can you give us on that story, Frans?
Yeah, the recall of our sleep apnea machines is very large. It affects around 5.5 million units, even though the incident rate of actual foam degradation inside these machines is below 1%. And in the meantime, also tests look favorable, but we will complete this recall. We have, in the meantime, produced 3 million devices already, so we are well underway, and by the end of the year we expect to complete 90%. Still, my heart goes out to all the patients because they are waiting and it takes a very long time, and from their perspective that's not good. But we are making progress.
Frans, the reality of this for your investors is that you've made an 885 million euro provision. You set that aside for the recall, but you've not made any provision for legal action. Is that imprudent? And can we expect the beginning of provisions for legal action? And if so, in what size and scale?
It's difficult at this time to make a provision for legal action. We are still at the early phases of potential litigation. And I don't expect that it's estimable before sometime in 2023. At this moment, with a comprehensive testing program, we are able to much better characterize risk associated with the machine. We have been able to tick off the risks on many items. For example, on organic compounds within ISO norms, also inhalable and respirable particles that are within safety norms. We have done visual inspection of over 60,000 machines and found that it is less than 1% likelihood that foam actually degrades. So the risks are starting to look more contained. Still, it is going to take time, to get a handle on the litigation.
Okay, so the risks are starting to look more contained. Could you just clarify for us, Frans, when your business and when you found out about the issues? I know that you say that they're rare, 1% incidents, but when you found out, what year, how far back we have to go?
Yeah, when we found out, we immediately took the field safety notice out last year in April. When you look back and you look for signals, then you can reconstruct how this has all happened. It is clear by now that for those people that use ozone cleaning methodologies to clean their machine, that has massively aggravated the issue. And that is more so in the United States than anywhere else in the world, where in fact we have seen even lower incident rates.
Frans, let's just pivot again to your global perspective. We parked China. We're debating, Anna, myself, and every show on Bloomberg as to the scale of the global recession, or just how precarious the global economy is right now. Do you think we're at a make or break moment? Are we at a precarious moment in the global economy?
I would definitely say so, Manus. There are so many forces at work. With regards to, first of all, COVID, of course, the pandemic is not over yet. We see all these supply disruptions. We see inflation, the war in Ukraine. It's something that in recent times the world has not experienced. And from an inflation risk point of view, I think we would need to go all way back to the 1980s. Still, at Philips, we are focused on what we can do. We have been able to mitigate supply risks, leading to a much better situation in the second half year. We are also taking action on productivity and pricing. And perhaps best of all is the fact that our customers really like our innovations, because the world will have healthcare needs, whether there is a recession or not.
Frans, I hear all those messages, and you've given us a list of issues that CEOs are dealing with. But as a European CEO, are you ready for a power crisis and capping in Europe? Are you ready for that? Is that the next major risk that you face?
Well, as a European citizen, right, and not as a global CEO, I am definitely very worried about the upcoming power situation, and let alone when winter comes and how that is all going to be contained. But that's, let's say, also me as a human being talking, and I think that Europe is not yet out of that situation.